Is it wrong to level up? Multiple teams, season 2 episode. I forget the title or the episode. Another day in which we'll head into the dungeon, leveling up all of these teams that have been forgotten, but are not really. It's time to keep on leveling them up until they're strongest in the world. Every time we try on more. I know that it is not that, I know that it is not that easy. I know that it's trying, and that these are very trying times in this place. But I know that maybe, I know that I am really upbeat with this song, even though I literally listened it for 5,000 hours, and I know, and I'm pretty sure I'm really bad at singing this song, but I don't really care because we're here anyway. Ladies and gents, that was my third time doing that intro, and I'd say that was okay. So, welcome back. Well, actually, not welcome back yet. I mean, I probably said it in the intro, but I just said it before, but I'm not welcoming y'all back yet. Just want to say this real quick. So, update on the whole thumbnails thing. I found 34 of the 74, but I haven't polished them or anything. I did add yesterday's episode to the playlist. I did put a thumbnail for that episode as well. The description, fun stuff. I'm going along with the stuff. It's working. At least it did for yesterday. I hope that it's the same for today. My point is that, well, not my point is, but the other thing is, I listened to this song, because it took me about, like, I want to say an hour and a half to try to find 34, thumbnails. And so, well, that whole time I was listening to just this song, and, yeah, it's great. It's, honestly, I gotta love this song a lot, and so I tried to sing it here. I tried to. I did a little bit in the beginning, but thing is that I don't have the volume as high as I usually have it, just so because I want y'all to be able to hear me, so I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna keep it here. Hopefully all of y'all can still hear me. But if you can't, I'm just gonna lower it down to here then. Yeah, like there. There. Alright. Anyway, with that all out of the way, welcome back to welcome to episode 781 of Dungeon de Motomere no Mashigatiru Raka, Memoria Freese Y3, in which we are going to, we're gonna level up multiple teams, folks. I mean, what else? Why else would we be here? A stray record? What's that? Danmachi season? What's that? No. Just Danmachi season, not Danmachi season 2. Just Danmachi season. Alright. So, we got good old Rio here, but not Ryu. But let's check up with the good old citizens of Arario, good old goddesses and gods and adventurers and, of course, waitresses, or the hostesses. They're not really whatever. See, everything's going. How you doing, Haruhime? Doing good? You're doing great? You're doing awesome? Perfect. How you doing, Loga? Probably. Hey, you got to Sticky level 11. Epic. Let's see. Let us see. Hey, Mid, how you doing? So, another thing I just forgot to mention, off the top of my head, not only are we going to be doing, is it run to level up multiple teams, but we're also going to be, well, not also going to be, but, we are, today is Father's Day. So, for any fathers watching this, which I really wonder if any father would actually watch this, but if there are any fathers watching this, happy Father's Day. I hope you have a great day. That is, if you are watching this on Father's Day. If you're not, well then, that was dumb. Anyway, but if you are, like I said, happy Father's Day. And yeah, from that, well, since it is Father's Day, I called my dad, I said Happy Father's Day to him. Obviously, I told Lewis Happy Father's Day. He called his parents. My mom called her parents, and Happy Father's Day to everybody. And I also said Happy Father's Day to my grandpas, and, yeah, fun stuff. Had a pretty shabby night after doing all that work. Like, stayed up till like 3 in the morning, doing a bunch of other stuff. And, yeah, I woke up a little, not shabby, I should say groggy, and so, with that, I mean, I didn't get mad or anything. I wasn't like, but I was, it was one of those mornings where I woke up, I came downstairs, and I fell asleep after having breakfast, and then I woke up at lunchtime, and then I went to sleep. So, yeah, it's pretty early into the evening, I guess you could say. It's pretty late into the afternoon, I think most people would say. That's just because didn't really do much today. Just woke up, spent time with my family, ate. Now I'm here. Actually, yeah, I spent time with my family, ate, and then I took a shower, and now I'm here, so, stuff. Anyway, yeah, let's get to leveling up those multiple teams, huh? So, last I remember, I really hope we weren't leveling up Aragonot team, because if we were, well, then shit. Also, if you're wondering why auto move was off, it's because I was showing my mom the very cool new stuffs they've added to the game, so that was cool. Anyway, Sword of Light, Storm Bolt, Spiral Strike, and Aerial Glide. Yeah, so we're gonna level up multiple teams. I want to say that today's episode will probably be, well, I don't know, maybe like, I don't want it to be as long as yesterday's, but I have the time, so, because me and my mom were gonna watch something, along with Lewis, you know, since it's Father's Day and all, so we're gonna watch something, but then they decided to watch something else, and I'm not watching because it's a hefty movie. It's a bit darker. It's a bit darker of a movie than I'd usually like to watch. So that's why I'm not watching it. Also, I feel like I should mention this. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I finished a certain scientific railgun. Not yesterday. The night before yesterday. Yeah. So the night before yesterday, or 2 nights ago, I finished Certain Scientific Railgun Season 1. It was great. I loved it. I cried. It was great. I truly love that. Oh yeah, and we get less stamina now. Okay, yeah, but we're gonna be talking about a bunch of stuff, as per usual here. So yeah, okay, so we weren't leveling up Aragonot team. Great. Or, sorry, not Aragonot team, it's Astray Aragonot. I am sorry. Estrella no team. That's right. That's right. All right. So now we gotta level up you rambunctions. You rambunctions. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Let's see what your attacks are. Sweeping Swathe, Marksmanship, Evening Star, and Ultimate Slasher. An Ultimate Slasher? Like, Ultimate Slasher movie? I haven't seen a slasher that's as ultimate as, you know, the ones of ye old past. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about, is stuff. So, let's see, what is it that I have to talk? Everybody just leveled up to level 45, so, congrats to all of you. Can we get some congratulations in the, I don't know, comments? I don't know. So, one thing I feel like I should be mentioning now, so I know that I mentioned it for Estrella Record, and I feel like I also mentioned it last episode, but I'm gonna mention it here for the last time, just because I feel like this is the best place, or not the best place, but I feel like this is going to be a place that I'm going to be recording in for a while now. So, obviously, like I said, Smash, can we just have all Smash? Smash, Drumming Strings, sure, that sounds like a Smash. Phantom Razor, alright, and then Extreme Smasher. Yeah, so like I said, I know that I probably have mentioned this, that I mentioned this in Estrella Record, and in last episode, but I am recording in my parents' bedroom, like, the main reason is because they have these little, like, sofa chairs on, that are on Lewis's side, and they're, like, super comfy, and not only that, but it's, like, it's kind of very much blocked off from the rest of the house. Not to say that it's, like, completely separate from the house, but I just feel like, because my quote-unquote new room that I've, you know, sort of inhabited during this entire quarantine, is right next to, of course, my old room, which is now my mom's new office. And so obviously she has a lot of calls to take and all that kind of stuff, and I really can't record in my room while she's, you know, on calls. And so, hold on. Command lead, new moon, and laser weapon. Yeah, so I really can't record when she's in that room. But, and I also can't record downstairs, because Lewis, I mean, I could record downstairs because, you know, Lewis most days now is going outside, to work, going out there in the world to work, which is pretty scary for us, but, you know, it's going good. It's alright. But still, I really don't like it, unless I'm really forced to, like, not forced to, but, forced to. Unless I'm, like, really forced to record downstairs, then I'll record downstairs. But besides that, I think for the most part, well, okay, if I'm really forced to record downstairs, then I'll record downstairs, and if it's an episode in which, like, it's really gonna be a long one, like, you know, obviously episode 773, or episode 733, if y'all remember that absolute behemoth, then I'll record that in my room, you know, late at night, all that kind of stuff, but, hold on, attack, yeah, let's have you attack, Archer's Art, new moon, and, just attack, yeah, I'll record, like, late at night, like, long videos if I have to, in my room. But besides that, oh yeah, and the other thing is that I really don't want to record outside anymore. Just because, I mean, it's nice. You know, getting sun is nice, you know, all that kind of stuff, but it's hot. You know, it's honestly really hot. And I don't want to go outside and sit on a chair, get super hot, and for the phone to burn up, and all this kind of stuff, and for me to feel stuffy and uncomfortable, and all that. And so I'd rather just stay inside. And, you know, again, if I'm forced to, or if I have to, then I'll record downstairs. If it's a super long video, like longer than an hour and a half, then I'll record in my room at night. But on any other occasion, without those occasions, I mean, I'm gonna be officially recording here in my parents' bedroom, because it's chill, it's comfortable, and it's where I started Astrea Record. So you better believe that it's an important place to record. So yeah. Anyway, everyone's at level 46 because we love continuity. Okay, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's see, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about, my commander lead and my ultimate slashy, and we'll do some marksmanship too. Okay, another thing that I want to mention is what? Well, another thing that I want to talk about is, yeah, so like I said earlier in the episode, or not earlier, but like a few minutes ago, I finished a certain scientific railgun. I really liked it, you know, at least season 1. I really liked it. I ended up liking it a whole lot more than I thought I would. I honestly didn't know what to expect with it. I just sort of watched it at random. Not really, but really at the same time. And I really, like I said, I really ended up liking it. It ended up being an experience. A really good experience, to watch. It gave me a taste of what I've been missing from a lot of anime that I used to watch. And I'll talk about that in a second. Storming Strange New Moon. What I mean by that is like the first anime that I sort of watched, if we're being honest, was Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, it's not like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Type anime, I mean, except for like the battles and whatnot. But it also kind of reminded me a little bit of it kind of not reminded me. It didn't remind me it didn't remind me of just one anime. It reminded me of, like, you know, some slice of life, some action, or shonen, I don't know what you call it, anime. You know, like My Hero Academia, like Fairy Tail, like Magica, I think, and it kind of reminded me, like, it kind of had, you know, some action. It had action, had slice of life, you know, melded that real well. And just overall, the first season was a great overarching story. I really liked it. Like, I honestly loved how it's sort of a thing. It's sort of a thing that just ended up being better than I thought. Because when I think of hold on, the Smash, Strumming Strings, and yeah, like when I think of anime, when I think of like a shonen or like a slice of life or something, like there's always like either those little arcs of like, oh yeah, this, like for slice of life example, like, okay, it's summertime, so we're going to have like a three-parter for summertime stuff. So like the first episode We go to the amusement park. Second episode, we go to the beach. Third episode, we go to a resort. I don't know, like that kind of stuff. And then obviously for like a shonen, you could probably have those slice of life moments like in My Hero Academia with the festival, which I haven't watched yet, but if you know it, you know it. But also in like a shonen, like My Hero Academia, you have the arc. You have really long arcs that usually last you half the season, and then you also have Memoria Freese, where just recently, well, not just recently, but recently, in season 2, we had 2 arcs. We had 3 arcs really. We had Apollo Familia arc, or the War Game arc. We had the Apollo Familia arc, or the Killing Stone arc, or the Haruhime arc. Lethal Weapon, Phantom Razor, and then of course that final arc at the end with Belle and Hestia and Ace, and sort of the introduction to Rika and all that. So everyone's level 47. So we were introduced to that whole thing. So there was like 3 arcs in one season. But the thing is that's what you think of, like, shonen and slice of life. Like, they have their arcs. They have their arcs, and one melds into the other, or not one melds into the other, but like one arc finishes, and then you wait a few episodes. You maybe have a few slice of life episodes if we're talking shonen. Maybe if we're talking fairy tale, like there's usually a huge arc that happens, sort of like the Daedalus arc. If anyone remembers that, because that's the only arc I can remember, because I think that was like the last arc that I watched, even though it wasn't. So if you remember the Daedalus arc, after that arc, they sort of had like a few slice of life episodes, I think, and then we had another huge arc, or maybe it was a small arc and then break and then large arc. That's just how it goes. But the thing with a certain scientific railgun, and I'm not really going to spoil it if I'm gonna be honest, because I'm not gonna be calling out any characters or anything, and I really won't be like talking about the inner story or the inner works or the inner workings of the whole thing. Let me see, Sweeping Swathe and Evening Star. I won't be like talking about all that, but I will say that a certain scientific railgun did something really, really interesting. And I say that it's super interesting, but now that I think about it, I bet that every other shonen has done it. But this, for me, this was like the first time that I had seen it in a while. That all of these arcs, because the first season, to my memory now, which took me like 20 days to finish, was like what? I want to say maybe 4 or 5 arcs. Which is, pretty hefty for a 25 episode, a 25 episode season, or 24 episode season. That's pretty hefty for that. But it worked, and it was good. Like I said, it had a nice blend of slice of life and action. But the thing is that what I really liked about this is that all of the arcs, like you're constantly learning more and more about things here and there, like you usually do when it comes to anime. And then by the end of when you get to the beginning of the last arc, it's like oh yeah, it's all coming together type thing, and so I really like that, because they didn't throw out old things for like previous things in the season that they talked about. Like they rope back everything. They rope back everything into itself, and it's really, really cool. Because I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Just the first season. Marksmanship, Ultimate Slasher. You know what I'm talking about. It's if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just really cool because they don't leave anything aside. Like for example, what? For example, trying to think. No, I can't think. I honestly don't know. It's just they don't leave anything aside. They bring back everything for like the last arc, and it's really, really good. I was honestly surprised, truly hyped. I honestly loved the first season in its entirety. Like I said, nice blend of everything, really. Great characters. I honestly give it. I mean, I feel like I don't know if I actually give like a 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 for a lot of anime. I don't know if I rate anime along with reviewing them when I talk about them here. But if I'm being honest, because I'm pretty sure I when I was talking about Hana Yamada and Konohana Kitan and Ray Zero and all those, I'm pretty sure I gave all of those like 10 out of 10s. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it a Certain Scientific Railgun season 1. I'm gonna give it like a. I'm gonna give it a 9. A 9, yeah, just a 9 out of 10. Just a simple 9 out of 10. Because it was just good. It was great. So, yeah, that's that talked about. Anyway, moving on. Can we get some actual, freaking specials here? Lethal Weapon, Phantom Razor, Archer's Art. Okay. So, on to the next thing. I watched this movie called Braven. It stars. I watched it last night. It stars. I'm gonna get his name wrong. It stars the guy. It's like James Momoa or Momoa. I think it's Momoa. If he sounds familiar to you, he's the guy that played Aquaman. And so he I think made this movie, or I think he made the movie and was the lead. He was the lead character in the movie. And Braven, it's to give you the simple gist of the movie, Braven is basically everyone gets to level 48. No, Braven is about like a woodsman, I guess you could say. It's not a woodsman. What do you call those? The tree logger guys, freaking axemen, not huntsmen. What do you call them? Not archers, wood choppers. Why can't I? Lumberjacks. There you go. It's a story of a lumberjack. Called I want to say Joe Braven. We'll just call him Papa Braden. Sure, Papa Braven. I don't know. Freaking Jason, because Jason Momoa. So, Jason Momoa's character is a come on. I just said it. How do I already forget what I just said? It's not a wood chopper. What is it? it's a lumberjack. There you go. Oh, man, I'm having a really tough time with, these smashing all these strumming strings and evening these stars. And, yeah, that's terrible. I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyway, so his main character, Lumberjack, he has a family, which includes, his wife, which I already forgot the name of, his daughter, Charlotte, and his dad, which I also forgot the name of, but is also played by a famous actor, which I also forgot the name of, so perfect! But yeah, the four of them live in this house, in this snowy, little comfy house, and they have a shed, or a, cabin, that's a better name for it, in the woods, not to be confused with the horror movie. And basically, the movie is basically, the dad, Jason Momoa's dad, in the movie, is, I don't know what you would call his case, but he's, let's just say mentally ill. He's not right. And so, so in the movie, the both of them head to this, he's mentally ill, his dad's mentally ill, and he wants to sort of help him, because he keeps on, going to this bar or something, and, I think, trying to hit on other women, because he thinks that that's his wife who's been passed, and all that kind of stuff. My point is that he's cuckoo. And so, his dad wants to help him, and the doctors recommend, hey, you should put your dad in a home, in a retirement home, and this and that. And so, Jason Momoa does not want to, because, who would want to? Sleeping Swaith and Jimmy Moon would want to. But that's not the point. The point is that, he doesn't want to. And so, he goes home, with his dad that night, and, the next day, they decide to head over to the cabin. Head over to the cabin the next day to lock it up for the winter. Now, I didn't mention this, but in the beginning of the movie, which, by the way, I'm totally going to be talking about this movie, 100%. So, if you want to watch it, but I don't watch it at the same time. Just, if you want to watch it, but I'm gonna spoil the whole thing, alright? I spoil things here, folks. I know that I didn't I know that I was trying not to spoil freaking, what do you call it? A certain scientific railgun, but I am gonna be spoiling this, so, sorry! Anyway, so if you're planning on watching it, actually, go ahead, watch it. I'm warning you. Watch it, and then come back. Because I've only told you just the first 5 minutes of the movie, so don't worry. We're going a full-out review here, people. Welcome to Memoria Freese, where we review anime, movies, and my life's choices. Anyway, you ready? You came back? You've watched the movie? Great, perfect, awesome. I can spoil it all the hell I want. Great. Anyway. Let's go ahead. Let's get that evening star and that marksmanship, and let's continue the review. Yeah. So, the next day, the two Bravens, Jason Momoa's character, and his dad go to the cabin, and, oh yeah, and the thing that I didn't mention is that at the beginning of the movie, at the very, very beginning of the movie, Jason Momoa has this friend, which, again, I also forgot the name of, and he's also a lumberjack, and he's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a storm coming, so you better get home soon, and he's like, don't come near my cabin. So his friend's like, okay, I'm gonna go, okay? And he's like, okay, be safe out there. And so, apparently, we find out early in the movie well, you know, his dad, well, Jason Momoa's dad in the movie, went to that bar and then got in a fight, went to the hospital, which I didn't mention, but I'm mentioning now because now I'm spoiling the whole fucking movie, during that whole thing, Jason Momoa's lumberjacking friend, basically, he deals, not deals, but he's into the whole drug trade type thing, and so he goes to one of his pals, to pick up some drugs and deliver them to a drug lord or something, I don't know, so we can get money, obviously, I don't know for what, probably like food for his family, I don't know, and so he uses his truck, that he, like, pulls all the lumber on and all that, and he stores a bunch of, like, drugs and all this kind of stuff on that truck. And so he's driving with this person with him, I forgot what his name was, but whose name have I not forgotten. And so they're going along, they're driving in the middle of the night, in the snow, and I think they hit something, and then the truck flips over, and then it's sort of like and because of that, like, an explosion sort of occurs over, because, like, there's a fire, and this, and then that, and so, explosion happens, so they try to get all the drugs, so, like, the police don't find it, and so, they take the drugs, and they go up to, the guy that gave him the drugs, not, again, this isn't the drug lord, but this is, you know, sort of this is the drug friend of Jason Momoa's character in the movie, Lumberjack Friend. I know it's very complex the way I'm describing it, but I'm sorry, I really don't have anything else. And so, he asks Jason Momoa's lumberjack friend, okay, do you have anywhere we can hide all these drugs? And so he's like, yeah, my boss has a cabin up ahead. So they go to the cabin, they have the drugs there, and then, of course, the next morning, Jason Momoa and his dad go to the cabin. Now, I know that I've said that like 4 times already, but I also forgot to mention another thing. So, the two guys that I'm talking about, the lumberjack and the druggie, go call up the drug lord guy, and the drug lord guy is like, so where's the money? Bring me the money so I can pay off this guy and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, we don't have the money. It's at the cabin. So then the drug lord guy kills this guy that he was going to give the money to in a diner, and skip to next morning. So we're headed to the cabin. Good old Braven, good old Jason Momoa Braven, and his pop are heading over to the cabin finally, and they get there. They're strumming strings and they're ultimate slashing. Yep, yeah. And so they head there, and they're shutting stuff down here and there, and while they're doing that, they're just chilling and all that, and then while they're chilling and closing everything up, the bad guys, which I can now call them the bad guys and not the drug lord. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say the drug lord and the bad guys. Including the druggie and the lumberjack. All of them start coming towards the cabin, and before they get there, of course, Jason Momoa, his pops, and Now Charlotte, because Charlotte is apparently there, she's snuck in the back of the trunk. All of them then go back to the house because they've closed up the cabin for the winter, and yeah, so they're heading along, and the drug lord sort of puts up these snipers behind the trees to shoot down, or like shoot Jason Momoa's character who's driving. So then obviously they don't see anything because they probably saw the drugs and this and that. And so so what happens is that instead of shooting Jason Momoa is like, oh man, like, because he doesn't see anything, but he feels uneasy, and so then he backs the truck back to the cabin, and at the cabin now is back to the cabin. So he hides Charlotte under like some stairs. He puts his dad upstairs with the sniper rifle, and then of course Jason Momoa just starts doing stuff, locking up some places in the house and just doing stuff, and then the rest of the movie happens. So basically, to sum up everything else, because I don't really want to go into detail more about this movie, because I didn't want to talk about the movie itself. I just wanted to like ramble about this one thing that I really hate. So I'm just gonna get to that. So again, if y'all watch the movie now, please. So I really don't want to spoil this. So what ends up happening is that obviously the drug lord is like, okay, I want the drugs, so give me the drugs. And so Jason gives him half the drugs, but it's not all the drugs. So gives him the drugs, doesn't give him the drugs, and before all this, of course, Jason Momoa's lumberjack friend tries to like reason with Jason Momoa's character, and when he gets so annoying to the point where it's like the drug lord's fed up with lumberjack saying stuff, drug lord kills lumberjack guy, and then that sucks because he was a character, and yeah. And so after that, everyone's level 50. Wow, okay, we leveled up the team. All right. Anyway, we're just gonna keep on going. So after they after he shot the guy, he still has snipers, and the drug lord still has snipers around the house, all this kind of stuff. Jason Momoa's pops, is sniping at this one guy, in like behind the woods or something, or behind a tree. And so Jason Momoa's like, alright, I'll tell you when to shoot, and then Jason Momoa gives them the quote-unquote fake drugs, or whatever, or the fake half of the drugs, or quote-unquote rest of the drugs, and so he throws them out onto the porch, and that allows them to be distracted. So what he does is that he grabs his daughter, goes in a automobile, not an automobile, in like a snow treader, like one of those buggies, one of those snow buggies or whatever. He gets into that, he rides off, he leaves his daughter somewhere, he tries to call for her mom, and then the mom will call the police, and then eventually, after like a lot of shooting and a lot of this and a lot of that and a lot of chases and whatnot, the daughter saves the day, mom saves the day, police don't save the day, and the dad dies. Bad guys die. Jason Momoa, I think, actually freaking got his foot caught in a bear trap, and movie over. So you caught that last part? His dad dies. So here's the thing. I hate this movie for one reason. That the dad died. And I know you could say, like, okay, well, he had to die. He had to die, there was problems in the beginning, he has problems, it's this and that and that. And yes, you could say that. But here, this is my opinion. So, imagine Avengers Endgame. Alright? Iron Man dies. Which is tragic. Tragic for everyone. The fans, the superheroes, everyone in the movie. Freaking even, how do I already forget her name? How do I forget freaking Iron Man's daughter's name? Anyway, so, everyone's sad. He died. The movie ends with a funeral for Iron Man, right? My question is, folks, I want you to tell me, would you be satisfied with an Avengers Endgame that ended with Iron Man dying, and then we cut to then we cut to, like, the whole Captain America bit of, like, going back to the past to return the stones, and then he comes back an old man, and he lived his whole life with Peggy, and then we cut to the end sequence. Would you have liked that, and just no funeral for Iron Man, no sympathy for Iron Man, no anything, no final epic shot for Iron Man type thing? Or would you have rather, stayed with the, actual version, which everyone's seen, which is Iron Man dies, they hold a funeral for him, it's sad, and then we see the true ending of, like, the Captain America stuff, and, yeah, that. Tell me, would you rather see A or B? And see, this is the problem for me with Braven. To me, the movie set up, obviously that the dad had problems. Dad was mentally ill. But there was sort of that glimmer of hope type thing that he could sort of come to a compromise, that the family could come to a compromise. Maybe he does have to go to a home, but maybe it doesn't have to be so far. Maybe it can be really close. Maybe they can get him treatment. Maybe he doesn't even really have to go to a home. Maybe he just has to be in the hospital, run some tests. It could have just been like that. It's sort of set up that thing where, all right, Jason Momoa's, dad in the movie, and, his dad are gonna sort of rejoice, because they ended up having a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a squabble when they got there about, talking about this whole thing, and then eventually they would reconcile, they would reunite, and, this whole situation, the whole, scene of the movie, the whole, like, shootout, all of this would sort of, like, bring them together type thing, and, like, make their bond stronger. So then they could figure out a truly definite solution on how to sort of fix or sort of aid his dad, right? But they don't. They just kill him. The dad just dies. He bleeds out, and it's elongated because, he's shot once, and that's bad. He's stabbed. He's stabbed, and then he gets shot, and then this, and then that, and so it's a very long and painful death, and so it's not, like, in the moment that he dies, but it is very elongated, and there's always, like, that bit of hope where you're hoping, like, he's going to survive. Because, again, it makes you feel, like, the movie makes you feel that, yes, he is like going, he is like on his last legs, he is like suffering, but you know, there is a chance for him to survive when there isn't. And it honestly frustrates me. Because even when like the whole shootout's over, even when Jason Momoa saves the day, like at the end of the movie just ends with him and his family rejoicing, not his dad. There's no funeral for his dad. There's no final moment where all of them are together crying and then moving on afterward. It's just, oh, we survived this. We're a family now. Which is fine. But at least keep the dad alive. It's just like, I don't get it. There's so many things. There's so many other things that could have happened to prevent his dad from dying. At least that's what the movie shows. If there's a part 2 to Braven, which I 100% do not believe there will be a part 2 to Braven. But if there is, and if his dad is alive, then this whole rant is for nothing. But it really ticks me off to like have that character, such a major character, you know, with such, you know, large problems, and you think it's going to be resolved, but it's not resolved. It's just shoved off. And I really don't like that. And yes, there was a moment with, you know, Jason Momoa and his dad in the movie, and you know, he is like, no, how, like, he was like really sad and all that, but it's just like, it didn't work for me. It didn't fit for me. It didn't hit me. You know, like, it was very like, why? So again, I don't necessarily hate Braven. I really, really like the movie. I really like what they were trying to do. I really like this story. I love it. But it's just like, that one, why? Just, why? I think it's just me having watched like so much anime, and anime is so cliche with the fact of, oh yeah, you know, this character looks like he or she is about to die, like on their last legs, they're bleeding all the way through. Like if you watch My Hero Academia season 4, freaking I think I'm trying to think of somebody got like a pillar of like a metal pillar just shoved through their stomach, and you know, you're like, oh my god, they're gonna make it, and they do, because it's anime. But it's just, I think that's just, I don't know, it just triggers me. But overall, it's a good movie. But like, besides that, honestly, really, they should have added like an afterwards sequence of things. But if it's a case of they didn't have enough time in production, or you know, like enough time, you know, probably it was limited time. If you know, other things were happening, then I can deal with that. But I'd love to just go and find a sort of director's cut, not a director's cut, but more like an interview with like the writers and all that of the movie, and I just love to see what their whole idea was, like why they really just wanted to kill the dad off. I mean, it could have been a thing where it's like, oh yeah, end his suffering type thing, but yeah, it's just this much. It probably is just me, because I don't watch a lot of I don't watch a lot of action-y type, thrillery, intense tension movies anymore. And so it might just be me out of the loop. Maybe a main character always dies in a movie. Because I mean, I do remember that there was this one movie that I watched where the main character did die, and I was fine with it because it was sort of a thing where it's like at the beginning he said, "I will do anything to save the planet" or something, and so it didn't really trigger me that much because they kind of foreshadowed it. But yeah, it was just a thing. So yeah, that's gonna be this episode of reviewing anime in less than 5 minutes and reviewing a movie, only to just get to a single point about how it's bad, but it's actually good. And so, yeah, this has been a longer episode than I anticipated, which I like, because I'm liking long episodes. I can make them work, I can make them lurk and learn. But yeah, this is gonna be me for today's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'm going to see what new anime I'm gonna end up watching. I'll be starting tonight. But we'll just have to see. We're just gonna have to see, folks, in the next episode of Dungeon de Motomeru no Amashi ga teiru daru ka. Memoria Y3 La Friends episode Dio 781 or 82. But yeah, until tomorrow, folks, this has been Yossit, and I will see y'all tomorrow. You got so much for watching, and sayonara. Bye.